Scorpio. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Trying a new angle here. This is the first video, but if you've watched any of the other videos, the angle I've been trying to figure out. I had the camera over to my other side. I'm switching it up. I woke with this feeling of kind of wanting something different, wanting something new, wanting to mix it up. That's why I have a new angle, because I'm being snazzy. It's just, you might feel like there's not enough mystery is the word I keep getting. Right, so Scorpios are really intuitive and in tune with the ethereal, with the beyond. They're pretty cosmically linked. And sometimes that can be a blessing and a curse, right? Like the first time you ride a ride is exciting, there's fear, there's thrill, you get to watch everybody else do it, and see their reactions, and you get that flip in your stomach, and you get that woohoo, right? That woohoo. And in this case, I feel like you're maybe in a place where you're just a little bored, just a little like been there, done that, seen it, got the t-shirt, donated to Goodwill, done. Like, where's the next thing? Next. So that could just be sort of, you're wanting to switch something up in your world, in your reality. And hopefully you are wanting to switch something up in your world. Right, because that's where change and as long as it's a new change, right? If you're going back, anytime that you go back, you've been there, done that, right? So you could have past energy trying to invade your space, trying to deter you from your divine path, and you're like, oh, I'm so sick of this fucking energy. I just want something new, fresh, different, something I haven't seen before. So that's what divine readings are all about. It's not, boom, first out of the deck, death. There you are, see? You're wanting something new. Two of Pentacles, Four of Swords. So there's a lot of balancing of the physical and the thought, right? So manifesting something new, which is difficult, and you could be challenged with that just because if you haven't seen it, like you've seen so much of what you don't want, but when you're trying to call in what you do want, it's new. You've never done it before. You've never had it before. You've never seen it before. You've never touched it, smelled it, tasted it before. So this whole new world that you're calling in is going to be that. It's going to be new. And there's a bit of moon energy, a bit of mystery. So the new moon, the full moon, maybe something with the new moon. If you're going to change your look and you're going to maybe cut your hair, if you're going to, purge things out, if you're going to release things, it's really good to do that before the new moon. It's good to do that anytime, but if you're going to do it in a ceremonious way where you're really using it as a spell work, then work with the moon energy. But the moon energy is going to be full and illuminated on the 23rd, and so it's the flower moon, right? And when the flowers, that's kind of like when you plant those assorted flower packs and you don't really know what you're going to get. Forrest Gump. I was thinking about Forrest Gump earlier. I'm not sure what triggered the thought about that. But just how Forrest Gump did so many things, right? He was always sort of doing something different, doing something new. He wasn't known for just one thing, and it's a very quotable movie, because there's so much going on in it. And so, I don't know what Tom Hanks's sign is, but anyway. All right, we have we've got double. All right, double, toil and trouble. So we'll go ahead and just pull out your 10 in this. Okay, there's too much going on here. But yeah, okay, so let's just pull this out. You're releasing old stuff that's not satisfying you. We've got the Chariot, which is new incoming energy or outgoing energy if you are maybe moving, making a change. Oh man, speaking of flowers, the pollen is out of control right now or something, my allergies. I did also just sage my whole house. So yeah, there's a need for cleansing, right? Cleansing under the moonlight, cleansing out your space, cleansing out your mind, and just starting fresh, getting all new energy in. But first, you have to get the old shit out before you call something new in. So yeah, you may also be, fixed signs. We have challenges around attachment as well. So you may be wanting something new, but you could also still be lingering in the past. You could still also be a little bit attached, right? And we know what happened when Forrest wouldn't let Jenny go, or she wouldn't let him go, and whichever way that goes. Page of Cups. New energy. Could be dealing with a fire sign, or you could be the feminine wanting to get into that fire aspect of yourself. Because Scorpio, you guys are so misunderstood. You guys are so misunderstood. Everyone thinks that you guys are a fire sign because you're a Scorpion and you should be in the desert. But Scorpions prehistorically, they were large underwater crustaceans, right? And then for whatever reason, they came up on land. Fixed energy is earth energy, so it's like you were uncomfortable for whatever evolutionary reason in your natural element, right? You could have moved away from home early, or been emancipated, or wanted to be and never were. And maybe it's time for that as well. You can be an adult and still have to do emancipation work, energetic emancipation from your past, right? And to go into a new place, right? So I don't know what it was. I'm of this current time, maybe I'll delve into my past life as a prehistoric being and figure out why you guys decided to, come ashore. Right, so there's a bit of a grounding work. Could be dealing with an earth sign or getting into earth energy, right? Taurus is your polarity. And so you may be kind of shifting into your polar sign, right? You've been dealing with death enough. You've been dealing with, Plutonian energy. It's like you're getting closer to the sun. That's what the divine path is. It's our path from death to rebirth, right? From endings to beginnings, right? And so you're coming up this evolutionary path through the planets. And so it's like you want to come to Earth because it's closer, it's terrestrial, and you guys are kind of alien, right? You're probably very ethereal as a kid, very kind of out there, space cadet-y, misunderstood, and it's like, okay, you want to kind of come to a more, like, you're here, right? You're here in this terrestrial body, so why not get all you can out of it, right? Like, have your living bucket list, and really just get all you can from this experience, right? Whenever you're bored in an experience, there's something you're not seeing, and that's that moon energy. There's something you're not seeing, and I think you can't really imagine this new world, but you've already come from the depths of the ocean ashore. So, that's a big move. And so maybe there's also a need to kind of honor how far you've come because you might be feeling disempowered and not feel like you have the ability to manifest everything, or maybe you don't feel deserving of it, but you do, right? It doesn't matter how many people you've stung in the past. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. Like maybe going through the 12 steps, right? You could be dealing with sobriety, dealing with getting old habits out, right? Like, building new habits, and in order to do that, you have to kind of phase out the old habits, right? And breaking a habit is really difficult. Even if it's a train of thought, a way of thinking, there's a need to I was thinking about planes, trains, automobiles. With the chariot here, I do feel like there's movement, and you could be moving from the depths of the darkness in the water into some new place. You could be moving ashore, right? And you're moving from Pluto to Earth so that you can get to the sun. It's like this, you're making a pit stop. This is your pit stop cosmically in this incarnation that you're in. And so it's like you might as well sightsee. You might as well see some stuff. And then, purge it out. All right, let's get back on track. Back on the train track. Come on, ride that train. Hey, ride it. All right, so we have death here. I'll circle back around to whatever train of thought I was on. Yeah, getting out of a way of thinking. You've been bearing the lies of other people. If you were misunderstood, you were probably told things about yourself. You're not enough, you're this, you're that, you're too much, and that's broken your heart, right? There's this heartbreak, there's this sort of like disappointment, constant disappointment, and just being let down, and sort of being like you've gone on this big journey. Maybe you go on this trip to go see an amusement park. I'm getting amusement parks, the tracks, and it's like you came such a long way, and then it's just like people in costumes and rusty tracks, and you kind of have a headache afterward, and the food is garbage. And there's a lot of people there, a lot of waiting in line, like, when is it my turn? And even if you get the fast pass, or, where you can jump ahead in the line, which is kind of what Scorpio has. You guys have that sort of, you're tapped into this cosmic knowing, this intuition from birth. It's just something that is innate with you guys. You guys are like, you're out there, man. So even if you get the fast pass and you jump to the head of the line, it's like you ride the rides, but you're riding them faster and faster, and so they're over faster and faster. A lot of times the waiting in line and that very waiting, patient, grounded, feminine energy is the challenge, right? It's a lot of waiting, but a lot of times that's where you meet people, right? You see this family and you get to talk with their kids and hear their love story. And so maybe you're sort of just wanting to, you're not amused, right? We kind of live in a consumeristic, we do live in a consumeristic amusement park, but you're not amused. And so we find amusement by slowing down, right? Going on a walk, right? So maybe instead of being on the train, the fast track, there's a need to slow down and just like watch a bug for a minute, right? I've got this lizard out here, and it's amusing to me. He's just there. He's got his beard. I don't know who he's threatening or showing off for, but they're funny, right? Like when they buck up at you, you're watering your garden, and they look at you and they're like, what? the little beard comes out, it's like, bitch, please. But you know, they're funny. So maybe just finding amusement in the small things, right? And it's easier said than done, but it starts by just slowing down and letting yourself be bored, right? Like, kids are not bored as often nowadays. I remember I would be so bored, and I'd go to my mom and be, yeah, I'm bored, and she'd say, go read a book. And really, I just wanted, quality time with her, because that's my love language. But, moms. And so I would go into my room, and I would just play alone for hours, right? And I didn't really understand the kids around me or what they were into. It always felt superficial to me growing up. It always felt like, I don't know, they just didn't get it, right? Whatever it was. So I just felt like they were concerned with other shit, and that's how going to an amusement park is for me now. I don't go because I've been so many times where it's just like, oh, okay, you think this is going to be this amazing experience, and it's sort of like, oh, it's just like gross people, it smells funny, and people are really rude, and they're agitated, and I just don't like that energy. So that could be an energy that you had to get yourself out of, or there's a need to get yourself out of. All right, so we have Death, Two of Pentacles, Four of Swords, Two of Swords. So you're at a fork in the road here. There's a need to choose one way or another and balance your thoughts. Balance, there it is again. The balancing of your, right, surfs up. There's a balancing of your physical world and your thoughts. So there's a need to change your thoughts. Choose your thoughts. In the movie Eat, Pray, Love, I don't know, his name is Richard, but I can't think of the actor's name. But I love him. He's a great crier. I just can't think of his name. And but he tells Julia Roberts' character, you can choose your thoughts the way you choose your clothes. That's a power you can cultivate every day. And so there's something about you're letting the thoughts of others come in, and that feeling of being misunderstood, you're letting their truths, their lies become your truths, right? And maybe it's a truth for them, right? That's usually what it is. When people put that shit on you, it's their own truth. It's their own stuff they have to deal with. So if they're like, you're not enough, that's on them. They feel not enough, right? They don't need to put that on you, but that's where they are in life, and that's what they're putting on you. And so you're but you being very sensitive and having that attachment is, you're holding on to that. And there's a need to let go of that and choose your thoughts. Six of Cups, right? Because if you keep saying, I'm not enough, I'm this, I'm that, then that's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract things to confirm that, because we, as human beings, as basic as human beings, like to be right. So we find things that confirm that. We find things constantly, right? If I'm looking for a yellow beetle, right? Everywhere I go, I'm going to suddenly see yellow beetles. I'm going to see it in the movies. I'm going to hear songs about it. And I'm going to see yellow everywhere. I'm going to see beetles in my garden. Like, there's going to be confirmation for that all the time, because that's what I'm looking for. So it's like changing what you're looking for to, and how you think about yourself and your world around you, right? If you go to an amusement park, if I were to go to an amusement park right now, I would have expectations to be disappointed, right? Because that has been my experiences in the past. But if I went going, oh, I'm just gonna, I know that the rides are not, there's a need to kind of shift your expectations and meet your expectations with your reality, and go, okay, well, I know the rides are not going to be that much fun, so I'm going to challenge myself to have one interaction with people, with a person, and sometimes that's tough. You could just really be struggling with the people around you, and I get that. I feel that 100%. But the more time that you spend with nature, the more time you spend with plants, animals, critters, especially insects, like the smaller you get, the more you can find little gems of surprises and amusement in there, and then you can kind of transfer that into people. So maybe instead of going to an amusement park, right, you could go to just a park, right, where there's maybe like water, lots of plants, a lot of foliage, and so there's not going to be as many people, right? There's no need, because you kind of know what that past experience is. If you're trying to date with the Six of Cups, like if you're trying to get out there and meet somebody new and get yourself out there, but you're like, I know I'm going to be disappointed if I go out there. Well, then you can change your thoughts, you can change your environment, right? And sometimes if you're struggling to change your thoughts, change your environment, right? If you're struggling to change your environment, change your thoughts, right? If you're a kid and you're stuck there and you're like, well, I'm bored and my mom doesn't want to play with me, doesn't want to talk to me, I'm going to go in my room and I'm going to make a whole world. And that's you changing your thoughts. That's you getting imaginative, because you don't really have a choice. But if you're an adult, which I'm assuming you are, you have a choice to change your environment. Maybe you can't change your job, or maybe you're wanting to like sell your house and move or something. But that's not happening right now. So you can change your environment, but maybe it's not changing fast enough. Maybe you don't have that fast pass. So in the meantime, change your thoughts, right? And if you're moving around a lot, maybe you're traveling, maybe you travel for work, whatever, your environment's constantly changing. That's the constant thing. Then maybe you can slow it down. I mean, it still comes back to your thoughts. I feel like I was going somewhere with that. Like if you can't change your thoughts, you could change your environment. So maybe there's something about wanting to travel. Maybe you're changing jobs, you're wanting to travel. Maybe there's things you didn't see. But very simply, right? Because that can be overwhelming. You can just change your hair, change your look, right? Change your wardrobe. You can choose your clothes like you choose your thoughts. So you can change your wardrobe up, change your look, change maybe your decor in your home, right? And you can do a lot with minimalism. You can do a lot with what you have, right? It's not like you have to come out of pocket and drain your bank account to, completely remodel and renovate your house. Just number one, clean the space, sage it out, get that gunky, funky energy out, open all the doors, open the windows, let some nice fresh air get in there, like clear it out. And you can listen to music, right? You can choose different frequencies that you can listen to online. You can just type in house clearing music and then choose something that speaks to you. Sit with it for a moment. This feels good. This feels like this is moving something. If it irritates you, change the music, change the environment, right? And if you don't like the smell of whatever you're using, change that. There are minor changes that you can make, right? I have a diffuser going that I run for every reading, and I run every day just pretty much because I love it. But I'm always changing that, so you can always just go get a new essential oil, or maybe make your own blend, right? Like I had a kit of pre-blended little blends, whatever. And I really love them. And my favorite is Tranquility. Damn, I can't talk. Tranquility by Guru Nanda. And it's just spearmint, patchouli, and no, I can't even remember. Spearmint, patchouli, and is it vanilla? Cedarwood. Spearmint, patchouli, and cedarwood. I have those three. So it's like I got to the bottom of that and I was like, no, this is my favorite one, and I don't have to buy the whole kit again. And I'm trying to use up what I have. I'm trying to reduce even more and more what I have. And I have those things there. So it's like you have the tools, you have everything you need for your favorite environment, for your favorite space, and you're not seeing it. There's something about not seeing it. Page of Cups. Yeah, this is some challenging energy here. So we'll get into the Golden Tarot in just a second. The Gold Foil Tarot. But the Page of Cups it's new. See, there's just kind of the focus. But even blurry, you can kind of tell. He's like, Gucci, Gucci, goo, playing with the fish, right? So maybe you can just hang out with your small friends, right? If you don't like people, don't hang out with people. Hang out with animals. Hang out with plants, right? You can just plant beans in a cup of pretty low quality soil and they will grow. Beans will grow anywhere, and they're great nitrogen fixers. So, if you don't feel like a master gardener, and you don't have maybe the space or the environment to plant a whole garden, you can just repurpose what you have, right? Containers, bottles, cups that you already have, coffee mugs. You could put some dirt in there, plant some beans in there, and just witness something growing. Find yourself amused by a sprout and being like, I did that. That's pretty cool. And then you can go Gucci, Gucci, Gucci to your little bean sprout. To your bean sprout. Okay, ladies? Or you know what? Yeah. That's another thing when it comes to manifesting your divine counterpart. If you are self-pleasuring and you're having a difficult time getting aroused, reaching climax, you're just like, I don't really have any crushes right now. I'm not amused by anybody. I'm not interested in anybody. Even when you watch movies or like everybody's voice is irritating you. You're just like not aroused or amused. And arousal is about stimulating the senses, right? So you can stimulate your senses in other ways. Because if you have no one in the spank bank, we'll just call it that, then the bean bank, if you have nobody in there currently to even draw from, even feature for feature, or like to idealize and create and imagine this divine counterpart that you're trying to call in, right? Because that's masturbation is self-pleasuring, right? Is about, it's a very powerful tool for manifesting, right? And divining. And very, very rarely do people use it for that purpose. They're just like, fast pass, but this is about waiting in line, right? So maybe looking into self-tantra, and who was I talking about Tantra with? Was it Cancer? Could be dealing with Cancer. We have the Chariot here, and you guys share the moon energy, and there is this lack of clarity, and the full moon is coming. So maybe doing a little bit of a self-pleasure practice to use as a manifestation tool to clear your space, clear your mind, and then, under the full moon, indoors, if you don't have the ability to do it outdoors, let's not get arrested, okay? And just imagine how they feel, right? Imagine your favorite smells, right? That's how your person is going to smell, right? It's like, again, in Harry Potter, where they have they're doing is it the liquid luck or the love potion, and Hermione smells it and it smells like toothpaste and it smells like, I don't know, woolly jumpers or whatever. It smells like Ron because she's in love with Ron, and she's like, oh my god, it smells like these things. And so maybe you catch a smell, right? You have favorite smells, and it reminds you of a future memory, right? So that's what you're doing with manifesting. You're creating a future memory. You're realizing it now, you're thinking about it now, you're feeling it and experiencing it now, and then you call it in because you're already experiencing it. That's already what you're expecting. So if you go to the amusement park expecting to be annoyed by people, you're going to be annoyed by people. If you go expecting to have one experience, right, where you just are totally amused by an interaction that you have with animals. I used to go to Busch Gardens a lot because I grew up around there. So I went to Busch Gardens a lot, and I mean, I wouldn't go there now because it's not aligned with veganism, but it's a zoo. But I was always so amused by the fact that there were squirrels, and I was so entertained by the fact that there were just squirrels running around, and we were paying all this money to go see animals out of their natural environment and watch them, you know, in these little boxes. And that's where you've been put in this little box. It's like you are in a zoo, and people are just sort of like poking and prodding and trying to figure you out, and you don't make sense to them, and they've taken you out of your environment, whether it be through the process of misunderstanding you, so you've had to move out of your environment, or you've had to play a part or adjust yourself in some way where they just, you know, now you're just like, fuck all y'all, like, stop looking at me, stop looking at me, Swan. This is you paving a new way. Eight of Wands, right? This is you just sling blading it, Billy Bob Thornton style, and paving that new path. And there's the Raven, right? I just heard a knocking too. You rap tap tapping on your chamber door, like, where did I just see the name Eleanor? Yeah, I just saw the name Eleanor recently. Anyway, maybe there's something in there for you. But anyway, it's like, it's time, right? It's time to get out of here. The Raven is also like, the Raven is the Native American totem for, or zodiac for Libra. So you could be dealing with a Libra, you could be tapping into that sort of, Libras are sort of la la la, and you were getting, and I always get Libra with the Seven of Cups, because Libras are very attractive energetically. They're just sort of playful and silly and like la la la. It's just the way that I describe Libras, la la la. And so they have a lot of options, but they can be sort of indecisive about which option they want to go in. But they're cardinal energy, so if they harness that, they'll really take off with one. The issue is if you take off with cups that you have not really evaluated, that you haven't balanced, right? If you have too many cups on the table, drinking could be a factor here, right? Which drinking will also dull your senses. It's depressing. It will dull your senses. It will make it harder for you to become aroused in any way. And if you're just sitting in a bar and you're looking at people, like, you know, all the country songs glorify, like, all my friends are here and I got friends in low places. Why do you want friends in low places? Get out of that low place. Get higher. Higher, higher. The zephyr was flying. Bed of roses. Maybe, yeah, planting some roses, planting with the flowers, right? Get yourself some roses. Plant those and let them just kind of be under the full moon with you. Also, the rose is like a symbol for the female genitalia, right? And, you know, just mind the thorns. And so, yeah, there could be like hypersexuality. I mean, Come on, Scorpio. That's you. Sacral energy is that's you. So it's needing to tap into your sexual energy in a way that is creative, because all of our creative energy comes from the same place as our sexual energy. So if our sacrum is blocked, if our sacral chakra is blocked, right? Because if you're annoyed by people, you go and you sit, and when you sit, your sacrum gets blocked. You get sciatic. You're blocking that, and it constipates you, and it just goes up the pipeline, and it blocks all the chakras all the way up to the crown, right? And you guys have this need to really just like beam me up, Scotty, and tap into that ethereal energy that you were born with, right? You could say we're all star seeds and we're all born with it, but you guys have a particular intuitive draw. Maybe also filtering your water and like decalcifying your pituitary gland for your third eye, tapping back into that, because you can't see it. Maybe this is blocked as well, right? And so you're sort of blocked. There's a need to just clear, channel, open that up. Oh, that was the advice for Libra, was to go sit outside and sit on the ground, get yourself grounded, get yourself back to the earth, and imagine that each of your chakras is a colored balloon, and as you breathe up through the root chakra, right, all the way up to the crown, imagine those balloons inflating, right? So you can breathe in for 7 seconds and inflate each one for a second, right? And just notice where you struggle. You might find like, oh wow, I'm really tight in the chest. My solar plexus and my heart chakra are closed off, right? Or you start to crumple into that fear-based posture, because posture is very important, right? There's a reason that everything in this consumeristic world has us hunching forward, because it's a lot harder to it's a lot easier to control a population that is in a fear-based place, right? So if we're blocked and we're in this fetal position, we're in this protective, guarded thing, we're not like children, we're not open-chested, free and feeling fearless and ready to harness our power, and we're not authentically aroused and creative. We're just like disengaged, going to the bar, doing the same thing, clocking in, clocking out, going home, sitting down, drinking a beer, watching TV, and we're just like ingesting all this false light, and our senses are, we're putting on deodorants and things that everything's contaminated, everything is polluting our body of water, right? It's like everyone's just dumping all this crap into a pristine pool of water. And that reminds me of Aquarius energy, where they're sort of like, they're dumping the vessel of water, right? The vessel, also like our sacred vessel is our sexual organs, right? Our reproductive organs. So there's something in there as well. Something in there is blocked, and that could be from drinking out of too many cups, right? So there's a need to kind of purify that. And what you have here is the Six of Cups, right? This is what you want. You want life force energy, but there's this little devil there in the puppet show that is blocking. There's devil energy. There's some type of attachment disorder, disruption that's blocking you from channeling what is this? This is like the people in What Makes a Monster and What Makes a Man? The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Holy shit. Yeah, and that's that Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like, what makes a monster and what makes a man? There's the puppet show in there where where the gypsies are doing the puppet show anyway, to introduce the film. Alright, we'll get out of that. The magician. There's a magician creating their new reality, but they have all the 4 elements to work with. And see these like See, there's those alien beings. You have such an alien energy about you too, but it's almost like your ancestors, right? The divine angelic beings are watching over you. They're cheering you on. They're wanting you to get into this. And you can just claim that, because it's your thoughts and what you think is your reality, and we are creators of our reality in this reality. But you can say, maybe you have someone who's close to you, a parent, or a family member that has passed, a good friend, and you're needing sort of their guidance, or maybe they helped you feel nurtured as a child, and so you just haven't really felt that. You can say, okay, well, every time, like if you're looking for it, if you say, every time I see a spider, it's my grandmother who made me really feel like I could tap into my imagination and really create any reality I wanted, right? Also, that with that energetic emancipation energy, you can put living people to rest energetically, right? You're not wishing death upon them, right? But you are to break that connection and to free yourself from the cage that they put you in. A lot of people, they feel like, oh, I have to entertain my family. They're family, so I have to. No, you fucking don't. This is your world, baby. This is your reality. And nobody puts baby in the corner, right? This is your reality. You can create whatever you want. You have all the elements at your disposal here. And not disposal because they're disposable, but your disposal, they're tools in your toolbox. They're only yours, right? And we always remember people. I'm going to do a video on this because I think that it's really important, a separate video about laying loved ones to rest so that you can love them unconditionally. So there may be a need to kind of just take that and go, okay, well, for instance, like my mother did not love me unconditionally. And so every time that I would interact with her, I would feel conditionally loved, because that's all that she was capable of doing. But when I'm not near my mother, I can remember the times where it was like, oh, she did that cool thing, or she was really funny here, or she was beautiful, and I can imagine her with my thoughts. I can imagine her as being this warm, nurturing, unconditional lover, mother, lover. Maybe you have a Gemini parent, the lover's energy, and parental blockages, right? They'll block your sacral energy. They'll block if they tell you like you're too much. Maybe they put you on medication and dulled your senses, and you were just too much. You were not enough. But you are exactly where you need to be. And so sometimes like just being faced with that all the time keeps you in the cage. And so sometimes we always remember people posthumously very well. We're like, oh, they were such a great person. It's like, I hear people talk about that and I'm like, you talked about how much you couldn't stand them all the time. They drove you crazy. They were mean to you. They were physically abusive, right? Like, people will remember these people who were very toxic, vampiric, narcissistic, and they'll remember them as being so good just because they have passed on. And so it's almost like this obligation that we should remember them well. But I also think that that's like a coping mechanism because we carry on their genetic code. And so it is healing because we don't have to be faced with their energy anymore. So we can just remember the good shit. And that's important because we're carrying their, right? That's the part of being a cycle breaker is you still carry on all of that genetic code, but you're not going to do it. You're not going to do with the tools that you were given, these genetic tools that you were given, these cosmic tools that you were given. You're not going to do it like them. So this could be like your shadows are actual people in your past that you need to put to rest. And that could be that need to kind of leave, and not agitate yourself anymore. Like, don't allow them into your space. They don't need to be there, right? Because the people that want to be there, there's a sparrow and a raven outside fighting. That's like more Libra energy. And that's all about balance. You've got a lot of balance images here. God, you water signs, you guys are kicking the moon confirmation. You're kicking my ass. But yeah, when you put people to rest that are currently in your life, Four of Swords again, there's that meditation, right? I'm going to give you that same advice because I'm getting that very strong, is to ground your root, sit on the ground. You can do it standing up, but I feel that that's more of a power stance. You need to get into a yin energy, so you're allowing the breath to come in to receive that nurturing power of prana, of breath, right? That's our life force. So a lot of womb energy, right? And then you can go into child's pose when you're done, right? So sit comfortably, right, with a nice posture, and inhale. And if in between each inhale you have to slump back down because your back hurts, right? My back or my fingers hurt. Now your back's gonna hurt because you've got lawn duty, right? So yeah, there's something about doing a garden and keeping your, strengthening your back muscles, but just to do this, maybe slump in between and then re-engage it as you inhale, and then breathe all the way up, inflate those balloons, just notice which ones you have difficulty with, and then you can just look into it, right? You can Google the information out there. There's tons of information out there, and just take what feels true to you. If you're like, oh yeah, that clicks, then there's all kinds of methods you can do to kind of, balance that indigestion. Yeah, you could have like cleansing your diet, right? I mean, this is when you're talking about like an energetic cleanse, a purge, it's all around. It has to be external and internal. It has to be your environment and your environment. Both have to be cleansed completely. And then you have to be very decisive. That's what Four of Swords. 4 is about balance. I'm a life path 4. I don't know what your life path is. You can let me know. But it is all about balance of the elements, right? And that's what the Magician is. And this is a cautionary of the 7 of Cups. Is you need to be in the 4 of Cups, which actually came out earlier, and then I put it away because I was like, oh, there's too many things. Well, forgive me, Scorpio. But 4 of Cups is very 4, 4, 4. You have this. You might see that, and if you do see 4, 4, 4, if you see that pattern, 4, 8, 2, 4 actually on the clock there when I said that. But 4, 4, 4. If you see that, it's all about, and we've got the swords, the cups. What you're wanting is 4 of Wands. You're wanting that divine union, that partnership, that marriage. Yeah, you have the 4 of Cups, 4 of Swords. I feel like there was another 4. Oh, just because we have the 4 of Swords twice. 4 of Wands, and then and you have the 2 of Pentacles. The 4 of Pentacles is about just being careful with how you spend your money. But that can also be these other ones, right? 4 of Swords is about how you spend your thoughts, right? Where you put your thoughts, and then what thoughts you allow in. So with meditation, you just look at your thoughts like a child that comes up and goes, I'm bored. And you go, they'll continue to nag you until you go, you can either shove them down into the shadows and then deal with them later when they're, when you have to bail them out of jail, or you can say, what can I do for you? What do you need, right? Because most of the time we just want to be acknowledged. We just, especially as kids, we just want someone to go, I see you, And then you go, ha, okay, bye. You know, kids run in and they're like, watch what I can do. And then they run away, bye. You know, that's all they want. And the best thing I've seen to represent that is in Horton Hears a Who, where the mayor has 99 kids. He's got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Devil underneath here. But he has 99 kids, and he sets a timer, and he spends like a second on each one. How is school? Good. And then the kids run off, and they're all very active, abundant, happy children, because they just have that moment. Quality time doesn't mean a lot of time. It's not a quantifiable like that. It's quality. And so it's just giving your focus for a moment, for one breath. Give your focus to a lizard on your windowsill, right? Give a focus to a thought. Give your focus to each one of your chakras for 1 second apiece, right? And then exhale. So if you breathe in for 7 seconds, hold it at the top, at the crown for 7 seconds, right? Feel any tingling, right? Let the sun beam down on you. If you're out in the moon, let the moon beam down on you. And let it come in, right? You've opened it up with that. And then let it come in, and then send that energy back down through all of them, and feel them deflate, visualize them deflating, and then send it back down into the ground. And in that way, you're charging that electromagnetic field that we are. We are electromagnetic. The sun is electric. The earth is magnetic. All right, we're headed towards the sun. Everything revolves around the sun in the solar system, and so does your solar system. It revolves around the sun. Your heart space is very blocked, right? That's what you want is love, but I'm seeing a lot of mind, right? A lot of work, a lot of magic that needs to happen, but in a divine way. And if you're trying to do magic or manifest in a way that is being manipulative in any way, then you call in manipulative shit, and that's that devil energy. You'll just call in more karmic cycles. You'll call in people that are, see, there's that zoo animal type energy of being chained, being bound. Libra also had that. Ace of Pentacles, Six of Wands. Yeah. See, you're cutting these Two of Wands up. So there's lots of twos, lots of fours here. Lots of repetitions of needing to eliminate Two of Wands. It's a choice, right? So this is being very clear. When you manifest, you have to be very clear. And you might be getting caught up on how do they look? What are their eye color? What's their hair length? You know, how tall are they? None of that matters. What matters is how you feel, right? What do they smell like? What does it feel like when we hold hands, right? When you're self-pleasuring, imagine them encompassing you or you encompassing them, and what that feels like to weave your energy together, right? Because that's the tantric wave. Ride that wave again. Maybe you're into surfing. Maybe you want to go back to the water. That is your element. And maybe you've just been on Earth too long, and you're like, I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to crustacean again. And that's that Cancerian energy again with the moon, the Chariot. All right. So hopefully there's something in here for you. This is a lot of energy. Queen of Swords and Queen of Wands. Yeah. Get that power. Get that power up, and you're going to get that power up by cutting out the shit that does not serve you and being very decisive about it, being almost ruthless and cold about it. Because if you're emotional about it, then that energy, that toxic energy still has the ability to affect you, right? And you don't want it to affect you. You want it to affect change. And change is what you're wanting, Scorpio. So let's do it. All right. We'll check back in. And I wish you well.